What is good? What is good? We are live. We're back again for another banger. It's your boy D Got Sauce. Thank you for tuning in. Why don't you leave a like on your way in? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in again. It's your boy D Got Sauce. We got some topics today that I would like to get into. I hope y'all are having a good Monday. You know, my Monday was pretty good. It was very cold. Um, I did some work on our house and pretty much spent the day with my kids after that. So it was a great day. I hope you guys were having a great day as well. But today, we got some topics that I want to speak about. Again, it is another live stream. It is the third episode. Welcome in. Welcome in. Leave a like for your boy if you're rocking with me. We're going to be doing this more often, right? We're going to try to do this 3 times a week. 3 times a week. I'll do more if I can do more. But 3 times a week, let's keep it going. Let's make this happen. Tap in. My guys in the chat, thank you for tuning in. Let's get to it. We got some stuff to talk about, boys. We got some stuff to talk about. Let's tune in.
And more violence in New York City due to the out of control border crisis, with tensions running high at makeshift migrant shelters. One fight even took a deadly turn over the weekend. The New York Post describing those migrant tent cities as helter shelter for good reason. Alexis McAdams is live from Randall's Island in New York City. Good morning.
I was in New York over the weekend for New Year's. And I had to be honest with you. I was driving through Brooklyn and I saw at the gas station there was mad people. And I was wondering to myself, appreciate you, Irv. I was wondering to myself, why is there so much people at this gas station? Little did I know, New York is flooded with migrants. Tune in.
Alexis.
Hey, Dana. Yeah, a lot of things unfolded over the weekend with the migrant crisis here in New York City. We can tell you one migrant here on Randall's Island was stabbed at least one time in his torso. He was rushed to a local hospital, but he didn't make it. Take a look on your screen. This is where it all unfolded here in Randall's Island on Saturday night, just after 7 o'clock there, happening right outside of that migrant shelter. And remember, Dana, these were sports fields, right, for kids? Well, they're now home to these massive migrant.
So a man that decided to come to the U.S. has died today. Well, I don't know if he died, actually. I guess he was. He was stabbed to death. Oh, my gosh. A man that decided to come to the U.S. has died today at a migrant shelter in New York. This is sad news. This is sad news, but let's continue.
Facilities. You can see there police responding to the area after the guy was reportedly surrounded and attacked. Investigators say he had more than one stab wound, and it was a 27-year-old migrant who was arrested for this fatal stabbing, now charged in connection to this incident. So this came just hours after chaos erupted outside of another migrant center in New York City. Witnesses there say a migrant tried to cut this long line you're looking at, where hundreds were waiting to sign up for temporary housing. They wait there for hours for this. That's when this fight broke out. Two NYPD officers were.
My man's was waiting in line, probably with his family, thinking that he was about to get housing today. A little did he know, his homeboy that was also trying to get housing was not with it. Maybe he was a homeboy that he was trying to get housing, or maybe it was somebody else that was just hating on these migrants. We don't know yet, though. Let's continue.
Injured in the incident, and at least two guys face charges in that case. People who live nearby say this line is always snaking around the building. Listen.
Y'all seen that line? I know y'all seen that line. And I tell you, the gas station was just like this, but they was just standing around. It wasn't no line like this. They wasn't waiting for gas. They wasn't trying to pump their gas. There was nothing like that. They was just standing around, chilling. Families, you seen dogs, you seen cats, I seen kids. I was like, what's going on here?
Say this
Let's
line is
continue.
always snaking around the building. Listen.
There are literally hundreds every day lined up around the block, all the way to the next block and around the corner.
So right now, at least 70,000 migrants are being housed and fed by New York City, and more than 160,000 migrants and counting have come to the Big Apple since 2022. The New York Post also reporting that over the weekend, a group of migrants were arrested for shoplifting after reportedly trying to run right out of
Migrants is
Bloomingdale's in
shoplifting
Manhattan
too.
with thousands of dollars worth of
That's
designer
sad.
sunglasses. And that's all just in the past 72 hours,
That's
right, Dana?
sad.
So a lot happening here, and we'll keep an eye on what's going on at Randall's Island, Dana.
All right, Alexis, thank you.
Wow. That was interesting. That was very interesting. Migrants have came to the US and now they are fighting for shelter. They're fighting for food, they're fighting for the right to work, the right to stay here. And it's a very interesting thing that's going on in this country right now. A lot of people are talking about it. A lot of people are giving their takes. A lot of people are against it. A lot of people are for it. Um, and it's a very interesting thing that's happening here because I don't think we've seen anything like this before. Not at this level, at least. I haven't. I have not. But again, we thank you for tuning in. Migrants crisis is happening in New York. That's very interesting stuff. I would like to know how you feel about it. So put your comments down below and let me know what you think because it's bringing in some controversial topics. Anyways, on to the next video. This one is a little scary because we all travel. I know for some of us we like to travel more than others, but I like to travel, and I've never rode this airlines in particular. I'll be honest with you. I'm more of a JetBlue type of guy, more of a Delta type of guy. But maybe if I had no other choice, I would try this. I would try this out. But anyways, this one is a little scary because for those of us that like to travel, um, this is something you don't want to see. Let's get into it. Alaskan Airlines plane had warnings days before mid-air blowout, say the investigators. Let's listen in.
About this Boeing 737 MAX 9, which you'll recall was involved in a dramatic mid-air blowout. Air accident investigators in the United States said today that restrictions had already been placed on the passenger plane after pilots on 3 previous flights reported warning.
I'm suing right away. I want every single dollar. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I'm not like you. I'm sorry if I'm not like you, but I want every single dollar. I need every single dollar. Give me every single dollar. Thank you.
Lights. The aircraft had been prevented from making long-haul flights over water. Its panel door blew out mid-flight on Friday over the US state of Oregon and has been found in a house backyard. This video, taken by a passenger on board the flight shortly after takeoff, shows there was a hole by the side of the plane where the panel was blown out. Here.
Do y'all see that? There's a whole hole in the airline. In the airport, the airplane. I can't believe this. Now, all my life, I have traveled. I have never seen anything like this. And I thank God, because this is some scary stuff. I've heard of planes going down, I've heard of planes getting attacked, but this is new. New news. Let's continue.
Is the call that was made by the pilot.
We do need to return back to, we have 177 passengers.
And just 20 minutes later, Flight 1282 made an emergency landing back at Portland International Airport in Oregon. Luckily, nobody was injured. In fact, it's quite amazing anybody was not killed on this flight. Here's the moment Jennifer Homendy from the U.S. National Transportation Safety Board announced they'd found the door plug.
It's really amazing that nobody got hurt on this flight. I gotta be honest with you. This is, nobody passed out. Nobody was looking for oxygen. I'm confused. I'm kind of confused. Could you imagine you going to Barbados? You going to Turks and Caicos? Matter of fact, you just going to Boston, Massachusetts. And you and your airplane decides that it wants to lose a door and scare everybody on the plane. It's making no sense. But let's continue.
I'm excited to announce that we found the door plug. Woo! Thank you, Bob. Bob, I will not give you Bob's last name, but Bob contacted us at witness@ntsb.gov with 2 photos of the door plug and said he found it in his backyard.
Well, the share price of Boeing has sunk 9%, wiping $13 billion off its...
Oh, nah. Can we rewind that? Oh, nah. I got to hear that again.
To announce that we found the door plug. Woo! Thank you, Bob. Bob, I will not give you Bob's last name, but Bob contacted us at witness@ntsb.gov with 2 photos of the door plug and said he found it in his backyard.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, the share price of Boeing has sunk 9%, wiping $13 billion off its stock market value. Alaska Air, that runs the MAX 9, cancelled 140 flights on Monday. Dr. Todd Curtis is a former Boeing safety engineer and founder of the website airsafe.com.
Let's check Boeing's stock price right now. Let's check Boeing's stock price right now. Boeing stock price. My goodness. We down 20% today, boys. Boys and girls, we down 20% today. That's tough. Let's continue.
I asked him to explain how this could happen with such a new aircraft.
Well, any aircraft, a very complex piece of machinery, and even one that is like the 737 that has been produced in one form or another for over 50 years. So with anything that complex, there's usually some sort of issue, minor, that has to be resolved with a new airplane. Even a brand new airplane has to go through periodic maintenance checks during its lifetime. Now, some of those can happen fairly quickly. So I'm sure this airplane has had routine maintenance up until the point of this event.
How important do you think it is that they've recovered the door or the section of the airframe that had disappeared?
I think it's absolutely...
They celebrating that they found the door, right? But they not addressing the issue here. Why is that door coming off? You're talking about this thing had maintenance throughout its lifetime. Then we need to know which bolt was the first bolt to come off. Who was the last person that checked that bolt? And then we gonna go from there. Let's continue.
absolutely essential that they recover that door to get a full picture of what went on. While they have the rest of the aircraft, the problem that this aircraft had was centered on that door. And by having that to analyze, they can see if there was some sort of manufacturing defect, if some maintenance had been overlooked, or any other problem that was not seen before this flight.
Somebody had to
It's now
overlook
emerged
maintenance.
that there were decompression lights that had been flashing 3 times previous in the cockpit. In fact, once on the day before on a flight that this aircraft had taken. Did they miss the warning signs?
No way. No way. No way. So they had the warning signs, but they refused to do something about it just to put the plane down. Use another plane at least. That works. Crazy.
Well, they didn't miss the warning signs. As the NTSB said in their press conference recently, there were 3 of these events, one in December and 2 on the 2 days prior to the event. And at the time of the conference yesterday, the press conference, they saw no direct link between the pressurization problem and the door problem. But one of the fortunate things about the problem was that even if it was unconnected, because they had that issue, this aircraft was not allowed to do what's called ETOP service, flying between the west coast of the U.S. and Hawaii.
American Airlines cancels 140 flights today. Yikes. Yikes. Talk about down bad. Talk about it's time to recruit. Talk about how we're going to fix this quickly because somebody's going to be on the table. Somebody's going to be on the table, the chopping block.
Had this event occurred out over the middle of the ocean, it would have been several hours, perhaps, rather than a few minutes before the aircraft could have gotten back on the ground.
Can you just explain what it would have been like in the cockpit from what we've heard?
My man looked like a lizard, but I just had to say that one. I'm sorry. I don't mean to do it. I don't want to do it, but he's kind of giving me lizard vibes.
Good, because it blows out at 6,000 feet. What happens then, and what would the pressure change be like inside the cabin?
Well, at 15 or 16,000 feet where this event occurred, the atmospheric pressure is roughly half of that on the surface of the Earth. So when you have something that large, like a door-sized gap in the aircraft, you would have a rapid decompression that would affect all parts of the aircraft.
It's very knowledgeable.
In fact, according to the NTSB, there was damage from several rows behind this door all the way up to the cockpit area. So there was a rather chaotic scene, loose objects, papers, and whatnot flying out of the aircraft. In fact, there was a critical checklist that was in the cockpit that was blown out of the cockpit somewhere in the back of the plane. So even if there was not damage, it was affecting how the crew could fly this aircraft.
And yet we don't know what the chatter was between the pilot and the co-pilot because apparently the recording, the voice recorder, has been overwritten. Is that typical?
That's correct. That's very atypical. The voice recorder in the U.S. is required to have 2 hours worth of data. And apparently after this event was over, rather than cutting the power off to the voice recorder, the power was left on. And over the next 2 hours, it silently recorded whatever was in the cockpit, which was nothing. And so when the NTSB looked at it, there was no data. Now, this has happened during several serious events, including runway incursions and a near crash in San Francisco a few years ago, where an aircraft almost landed on top of 4 other aircraft waiting on the taxiway. After that event, the same situation occurred. The power wasn't taken off the cockpit voice recorder, and there was no data.
So what finally do you think is going on at Boeing? This is an aircraft that was taken out of service for 20 months because of 2 previous fatal incidents outside the United States. It comes back into service, and now this. What happens, to the future of the aircraft, given, I guess, the wide concerns that passengers will now have about flying on it?
Well, as far as the future of the aircraft is concerned,
let me just say this right now: fly JetBlue, fly JetBlue, fly Delta. Don't take your life and risk it just like that. Flying Alaska Airlines ever again. I'm sorry, but let's continue.
concerned, it's pretty much assured. There is a set of orders for this aircraft stretching out several years, and they can literally create and manufacture dozens of aircraft a month of the 737 MAX series and have customers around the world. Now, as far as customer concerns about this, that's a legitimate concern. This is an aircraft model that had two very serious fatal crashes within 18 months of its entering service. Compare that to an earlier brand new aircraft design.
We're done with this. We're done with that. Never flying Alaska Airlines in my life. I'm thankful that I've never flown it. I'm not trying to fly Boeing. I'm not trying to fly Alaska Airlines. I'm straight. Thank you again for tuning in. It's your boy, D Got Sauce, man. We are here on our third episode. And oh boy, do we got some topics today. The first two topics was news. You know, we had to hear about it. We had to, we had to give our opinion. We had to give our thoughts about this situation, because those situations you don't want to be in at the end of the day. Just like this situation, ladies, gentlemen, you don't want to be in this one today. I gotta put the hood on for this one. I'm going boxing mode. I'm going Creed 3. I'm going Johnathan Majors. Now, now, we got to talk about this one. We got to talk about this. Although we don't want to talk about it.
And very difficult.
Hold on.
And
We're going ahead of ourselves. Let's go back.
Now to more of Mike's.
Although we don't really want to talk about this, we got to talk about this. You get me? Johnathan Majors has been in the news lately for a very, very controversial yet bothersome story. So if you're not familiar with Johnathan Majors, he's from Creed 3. He also played in a new Disney Marvel movie that I don't know the name of. But apparently, he's been making headlines. And I know him from Creed 3. I watched Creed 3. I thought Creed 3 was a great movie. I got to say that first. Creed 3 was a great movie, but his legacy seems to be tarnished now forever. Johnathan Majors is going through it with his ex-girlfriend, and she happens to win the case. He is now coming back out after the trial is over, and these are his first words to the people of the world. Oh boy, let's get into it.
Exclusive interview with Johnathan Majors, the actor who was convicted of misdemeanor reckless assault and harassment just as his career was taking off. Majors says he always intended to take the witness stand, but didn't in the end because he felt the prior testimony was so compelling that there was nothing else for him to add. But now that the jury has spoken, he felt it was time to tell his story.
This has been very, very, very.
Do I feel bad for him? Absolutely. But did he do it to himself? Absolutely.
Hard and very difficult and confusing in many ways.
Johnathan Majors breaking his silence just weeks after a Manhattan jury found him guilty of misdemeanor reckless assault and harassment of his ex-girlfriend, Grace Jabari. The actor, at times emotional.
Oh, sorry. You know, I haven't seen my daughter in a long time.
You see what I'm saying? This is the type of stuff that you don't want to get yourself into. This is tough. This is tough. I do feel bad for him. I do feel bad for him. Because a lot of things have been taken away from him. Like he says, he wasn't able to see his family. And this is all over what exactly? You know, that's probably what he's thinking in his head. Like, what am I in this position for again exactly? How did I get here? Let's continue.
You know, and a lot of it has to do with this situation.
In a split verdict, Majors was found not guilty of 2 other misdemeanors, assault with intent to cause physical injury and aggravated assault. They're saying you didn't intend to injure her, but the result of your recklessness injured her.
Right.
Were you reckless?
I was reckless with her heart.
Not with her.
Wait, what's that mean? You was reckless with her heart. I wish you would explain that.
Body.
Not with her body.
The physical altercation started inside an SUV after Majors received a suggestive text message from another woman. Hours later, after Majors placed a 911 call, police found Jabari unconscious.
You see this? This is crazy. This is crazy. Imagine you and your girl fighting, and we don't know what happened exactly, but she's on the floor unconscious. This is crazy. This is crazy. I would never want to be in this position. I'll be honest with you. I would never want to be in this position. But let's continue.
Just on the closet floor in their apartment, as seen in this body camera footage. You feel that you did anything wrong on the night of March 25th? If you could relive that night?
I wouldn't have picked her up. I wouldn't have picked her up. I wouldn't have put her back in the car. I wouldn't have tried to keep her in the car. I would have gotten out that car and ran.
That's all you had to do. He's correct. He's correct. You did not have to touch her, Mayot. You did not have to touch her. But because you touched her, it went downhill from there. Oh boy. Oh boy. Hold on. No, let's bring it back. Let's continue.
Immediately.
The two met back in 2021 on the set of Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania.
That's the movie.
The prosecution has described your relationship with Grace Jabari as tumultuous and abusive. How would you describe that 2-year relationship?
I loved Grace. Our relationship was not healthy, you know, and that began to reveal itself over time.
Why'd you stay?
I was scared. With the red flags, I found that, I use this word, I said, oh, this is dangerous. This is months before the incident. I should have been brave. I should have.
Well said, well spoken, well communicated. He's expressing his thoughts very, very good. We're getting exactly what he is giving. You get me? And that is some good wordplay. Now, I'm taking it with a grain of salt because he is also an actor, but she's also an actor too.
Have said, no, this isn't working, and I should have walked away. And I didn't.
Troubling signs in the relationship were revealed when prosecutors presented text messages where Majors expressed suicidal thoughts, saying, "Maybe I'm such a monster and horrible man that I don't deserve it and should just kill myself."
Were you suicidal?
Man, that's tough. That's tough, man. That is tough. And again, I'm like, why put yourself in that situation, man? You know, that is not the situation you want to be in. Get yourself out of that thing.
The ideations of removing myself from situations permanently is a thought that I've had, since I was a kid, since I was a young boy on the farm in Texas. It's not there anymore. I've done that. I'm doing the work to keep it at bay and make sure it's not there anymore.
Through it all, Major's new girlfriend, actress Megan Good, has remained by his side.
Shout outs to Megan Good. Shout outs to Megan Good for holding it down.
Even present for our interview.
How would you describe your relationship?
She's an angel. She's held me down like a Coretta,
Oh my gosh. Let me replay that. Hold on.
His side, even present for our interview.
How would you describe your relationship?
She's an angel. She's held me down like a Coretta.
Oh my gosh. This is why I be like, yo, I'm taking this with a grain of salt because did you rehearse that line? I'm just wondering. Look at that smile. Is he really smiling? All right, let's continue. Gosh.
I'm so blessed.
Coretta Scott King.
To have her. The relationship is still fresh, but, I think I found her.
The March 2023 incident thrust Major's dating history into the forefront. A Rolling Stone article back in June detailed multiple allegations of abusive behavior dating back to Major's relationships in college.
Majors was abusive with his partner, aggressive on sets, and a source of toxicity at Yale. 24 sources tell Rolling Stones Majors vehemently denies all accusations. Tough.
Majors vehemently denies. His attorneys offered past partners to defend him.
Have you ever had issues with domestic abuse?
I've witnessed it, but never participated. I've been smacked up before, but yeah, never exercised it. Those relationships went back to when I was 21, 22 years old, and I just think, was I a jerk? Was I a mean guy? And I go, yeah, knowing what I know now, like, oh, severe depression, childhood trauma. I've had very few relationships, so I can gather what situations we're talking about. Yeah, I was not the best boyfriend all the time.
But never hit a woman?
Never hit a woman. My hands have never struck a woman, ever.
I believe it. I think that's just like a code for professional, good men that you never put your hands on a woman. I think that's just common sense. I think that's just doesn't even have to be said sometimes. Like you should already know this type of thing. Maybe it's just the way I was raised, but that could be just me. Let's continue.
Gaining critical acclaim for films like The Last Black Man in San Francisco, Major's once red-hot career is now seemingly at a standstill.
And how are you feeling?
Moments after the verdict, Marvel Studios dropped him. He was set to play the prominent character Kang in upcoming films.
I am Kang!
But despite the possibility of serving time, Majors believes the script for his career is still being written.
You think he'll ever work in Hollywood again?
Yeah, I do. I pray I do.
I think somebody will pick him up on a movie. It might not be Marvel, it might not be Disney, but let's be honest here. Let's be honest here. What did he really do? Like, where's the actual evidence? If he did something, that's different. But from the video that we've been seeing, yeah, he tried to pick her up and put her back in the car, but he didn't slap her. He didn't punch her. He was trying to get his phone, and he ran like Forrest Gump through New York City. And that's the honest truth. So, was it that serious for real?
It's God's plan and God's timing.
For those who say, look, he's convicted at this point, what would you say? I mean, do you deserve a second chance?
I think I do.
Yes, you do.
I hope other people think that.
Yes, you do.
During closing arguments, Johnathan Majors' attorney said his worst fears as a black man calling 911 in America came true. Those words brought Majors to tears in court. He says race very much played a role in his arrest. He claims he was injured. He points to surveillance video where Grace Jabari pursued him, chasing him for blocks. She was arrested but never prosecuted. He calls that unjust. And we'll have much more streaming tonight at 7 p.m. on ABC News Live Prime.
Wow. That one I gotta say, that one was a little bit touching. Can't lie. Thank you for tuning in again. I appreciate every single one of y'all that dropped in. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. Make sure you hit that like button on your way in too. Also, hit that subscribe button. I appreciate y'all. It's a Monday night. That is the show. We're gonna be back here again. I'm thinking we're gonna be back here. Maybe we'll see how tomorrow night goes. But definitely Wednesday night, 10 p.m. again. We'll be back here for sure. Giving y'all those hot topics, giving y'all our thoughts, giving y'all our opinions. It's your boy D Got Sauce, man. Thank you again for tuning in. Peace.